How Zoran Mamdani's grassroots movement is redrawing New York City's political map by Pulse News Election Week special report. New York City's mayoral election is hours away, and something extraordinary has already happened. Communities who were once overlooked in local politics have stepped into the center of the story. An unprecedented 735,000 early votes have been cast, more than 4 times the normal turnout for a mayoral race. And much of this surge can be traced to one name, Zoran Mamdani. What's going on here isn't your typical campaign machinery, it's a civic awakening, led by working-class immigrants, Muslim and South Asian voters, taxi workers, young people, and renters fed up with the status quo. Their message is clear. New York City doesn't just need a new mayor, it needs it needs a new power structure. And they believe Mamdani is the one who can start that transformation, a race bigger than politics as usual. The ballot features 3 high-profile candidates: Zoran Mamdani, Democratic nominee, community organizer turned state assembly member Andrew Cuomo, former New York governor seeking a comeback Curtis Sliwa, Republican nominee and radio personality. Despite Cuomo's name recognition and Sliwa's media presence, Mamdani is dominating the grassroots energy conversation. He isn't just running a campaign, he's rallying a coalition that rarely sees itself represented in the halls of power. Even national figures are being pulled into the orbit of this race. One former president called Mamdani too radical, while another privately offered encouragement and advice. But here's the truth. Endorsements don't explain Mamdani's momentum. Organizers do. With essential players, communities who refuse to be invisible. Mamdani's rise is being fueled by neighborhoods across Brooklyn, Queens, and the Bronx, areas where the median income is low. Immigrant families struggle with housing insecurity, Islamophobia, and racism have been lived realities for decades. Workers hold the city together while earning some of the lowest wages. These are the people who cook in school cafeterias, stock shelves, drive cabs, clean homes, and care for the elderly. Many are Bangladeshi, Pakistani, Nepali, Afro-Caribbean, and Indo-Caribbean. Many are Muslim. Many are renters who fear eviction each month. For years, campaigns treated them like background characters in a drama happening somewhere else. This time, they are writing the script. Now, the ground game, that changed everything. If Mamdani wins, election analysts will point to one force, a grassroots organizing wave years in the making. One of the most influential groups behind it is Drum's Desis Rising Up and Moving. They have been knocking on doors in Bengali, Urdu, Nepali, Hindi, Punjabi. Volunteers, mostly women, go building to building after long work shifts. They hand out multilingual voter guides. They talk about rent hikes, deportation fears, school overcrowding, and abusive working conditions, not generic slogans.
Our mayor, your mayor, Zoran.
And it's working. Muslim voter turnout in the primary jumped 60%. South Asian turnout increased 40%. These are historic numbers. And they were delivered not by political consultants, but by aunties in hijabs and teenagers with phone bank apps. This election has become personal, not political theater, a movement born out of survival. Why Mamdani? A candidate shaped by hard fights, Mamdani built trust long before his mayoral run, especially with taxi workers crushed by medallion debt. When drivers launched a 15-day hunger strike in 2021, Mamdani didn't just offer a supportive tweet. He joined them for for us all. 15 days. Aziz, their bodies weakened in the cold outside City Hall. That moment convinced thousands of families that this politician doesn't just show up for photos, he shows up to suffer with us.
Campaign volunteer Kausar Ali, a Bronx taxi driver, put it simply, anyone can speak for us. He stood with us.
For working-class New Yorkers, that difference is everything. It is a community coming out of the shadows. To understand the transformation underway, you need context. After September 11th, Muslim men were detained without charges. South Asian immigrants were monitored and profiled. Hate crimes soared. Families told their children to keep their identities quiet. Sikhs cut their hair. Women removed their hijabs. New Americans learned to shrink. 2 decades later, the same communities are knocking on doors, loudly claiming their power. As one young volunteer told Pulse News, we hid for years. Now we are voting for someone who won't hide who he is. The symbolism is huge, a unapologetically Muslim candidate running New York City supported by the very people who once feared they didn't belong. That's a profound cultural shift, more than any single election can measure. Young voters are joining the fight early. Yes. Yeah, a significant part of Mamdani's volunteer base can't even vote yet. High school students, many from households where politics used to mean fear, are now phone banking, creating TikToks, organizing canvassing shifts, and explaining housing policy to elders in their buildings. They aren't campaigning for symbolism alone. They are campaigning for affordable rent, safe schools, student job opportunities, a livable future in the only home they've known.
If the adults don't choose the right mayor, we're the ones who will pay for it.
Victory would bring huge challenges. If Mamdani becomes mayor, the movement's work doesn't end, so it enters a harder stage. Governing NYC is like steering a battleship while financial sharks circle the hull. Opposition will come from Wall Street real estate developers, conservative media, national political forces, bureaucratic inertia. Balancing a transformative agenda with day-to-day city management is not a job anyone can improvise. And the grassroots leaders backing him know this better than anyone. They've already promised they will support him. They will not give him a blank check.
If he forgets us after winning, we will remind him who put him there. Loudly. Accountability isn't a threat. It's the foundation this movement is built on.
Say why this moment matters far beyond New York. Across the U.S., Muslim and South Asian communities have been visible in headlines. But rarely visible in power, not in major mayoral offices, not at the center of political coalitions. A Mamdani victory would rewrite assumptions about who decides elections, reset how campaigns communicate with immigrant voters, prove that working-class organizing beats corporate donors, signal a national shift in political activism, and perhaps most importantly, it would tell millions of Americans who never saw themselves in democracy that they are democracy. What happens next? As Election Day arrives, volunteers are still on doorsteps until closing time. Phone lines are buzzing in 5 or 6 languages. Campaign offices look like community centers. Streets in Queens and Brooklyn feel like rally grounds. No matter the final result, the political map of New York City has already changed. The city has witnessed the sharpest grassroots surge in its modern history, a cultural awakening among immigrant voters, a new generation of leadership emerging from the margins. And they are sending a message to every seat of power in America. We are done being quiet. Our time is not tomorrow, it's today. This is Pulse News. Election night coverage continues.